It's Tuesday, August 4th, and here's what you need to know by noon. Yesterday we told you one side said there was a deal, and the other said there wasn't. Today there are 3 official stories: a threat from the president and a cargo ship hit in the Strait of Hormuz. Plus, the Dow closed at a record, and Amazon is now worth $3 trillion. And in Spokane, where 600 homes burned, there is an arrest. Start with Iran, because yesterday's gap got wider. Here's the sequence. On Sunday, the president said he had called off what he described as the largest planned American military operation since World War II, after Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, Qatar, and Iran all pressed for diplomacy. He said talks would begin Monday afternoon, and that a deal was, his word, imminent, covering both the Strait of Hormuz and, ultimately, Iran's nuclear program. Monday morning, Iran's foreign ministry spokesman, Ismail Baqai, stood at a press conference and said this: "To avoid any misunderstanding, it is important to clarify what the current negotiations are about and who they are with. We are not negotiating with the United States at this time." End quote. Iran's only live channel, he said, is with Oman, and it is narrow, a temporary shipping route through the strait. Nothing else. Then a third account. American officials told CBS News that no new negotiations are planned. Not stalled, not scheduled. So on one Monday, talks have begun, and a deal is close. Talks are not happening, and no talks are on the calendar. Those are 3 positions from 2 governments, all on the record, all in the same news cycle. We are not going to tell you which one is true, because we don't know, and neither yet does anyone outside those rooms. The president answered on his own platform, and we'll read it as he wrote it. Quote, "Iranian leadership is unbelievably duplicitous. They ask for a meeting, some would say beg. Talks begin, with more scheduled in the immediate future, and they say openly and proudly that they're not having any discussions." End quote. He added in capital letters that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, and said the strait is already completely controlled by the United States Navy and, his quotation marks, our blockade. Later, asked by reporters what made this attempt different from the ones that failed, he said he wanted to give them, quote, "every last chance before decapitation." That is a direct quote, reported by 5 separate outlets, and we are airing it because a sitting president said it out loud about a foreign government. We are not characterizing what he meant by it. And then, at 10 o'clock Monday night, Universal Time, a commercial cargo ship broadcast on the emergency channel that it had been struck by an unknown projectile, 20 nautical miles northeast of Khasab, Oman, inside the strait. No one has claimed it. No casualties have been reported. It follows 2 near misses the day before involving 2 tankers. For the Ledger, since this war began on the 28th of February, 18 American service members have been killed and hundreds wounded. More than 50,000 troops are deployed. The administration has asked Congress for $67 billion. That is 156 days, just over 5 months. And the Pentagon has not held a press briefing since early May. Now the money. And the money believed the first version. The Dow Jones Industrial Average closed Monday at 53,178, up 693 points, 1.3%. That is a record close. We want to be precise about that word. It is a record closing high. It is not a record high. The Dow traded higher than that during the session in the last 12 months. The close is the record. The peak is not. The S&P 500 finished at 7,600. Its first close ever above that line, up about 1.5%. The Nasdaq gained a little over 2%. What did it? Oil. Brent crude fell almost 5% to under $84 a barrel. American crude fell more than 6%, under 80. Cheaper oil reads straight through to cooler inflation expectations, and the 10-year Treasury yield eased 0.07 of a point to 4.68%. You could see it in what rallied. Norwegian Cruise Line up almost 7%. United Airlines up nearly 6%. American Airlines up 5%. Boeing rose 8% on certification of the 737 MAX 7. Then the headline. Amazon closed above $3 trillion in market value for the first time, rising 4 to 5%, its best single day since May. It is the 5th company ever to reach $3 trillion, after Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, and Nvidia. Nvidia, for scale, is near $5 trillion. Amazon's trip from $2 trillion, which it hit in June of 2024, took just over 2 years. The engine is the cloud. Amazon Web Services brought in $42.2 billion last quarter, about $1.7 billion more than analysts expected. Company revenue was $200.6 billion, $4 billion ahead. And Amazon raised what it plans to spend building all of this to $220 billion this year, up from $200 billion in February, a 10% increase in 6 months. Chief Executive Andy Jassy's line is the one to hold on to. Quote, "We will still not have enough capacity to meet all the demand we have in 2026. End quote. He expects to still be short in 2027. For context, Microsoft's Azure grew 43% last quarter, and Google Cloud grew 82%. One thing worth saying plainly, Monday's rally was priced off a de-escalation that one of the 2 governments involved publicly denied before the opening bell, and a ship was hit in that same strait that night. That's not a prediction, and it is not a claim the market is wrong. It's just what the tape was buying. Now Spokane, the story we left open yesterday. At about 5 o'clock Monday evening, Spokane County Sheriff's deputies arrested a 37-year-old Spokane man, Aaron Farinacci, on suspicion of first-degree arson in the Old Trails fire, the largest of the 3 major fires burning around the city. He is accused, he has not been convicted, and his first court appearance is today. How they got there is worth hearing. On Saturday, witnesses reported a man behaving strangely near where the fire started, out at Euclid Road and Old Trails Road, around midday. An Airway Heights police officer found him about 1.5 miles from the origin point, questioned him, and let him go. The resources that day were going to the fire, not to an investigation. Detectives spent the next 2 days building the case. Sheriff John Nowell said the ignition point showed signs of being started by a match or a lighter, and that when Farinacci was arrested he had waterproof matches and a butane lighter on him. The sheriff's own words, "It is a continuing and ongoing investigation." Court records show a prior felony manslaughter conviction in Mesa, Arizona, involving his father. No prior arson convictions, though the sheriff said he had been contacted before over arson-related behavior. The fire itself started Saturday near West Euclid Road. Roughly 700 structures are gone, 5,300 acres burned. Up to 65,000 people were told to leave, including a VA hospital. The governor declared a statewide emergency. And the fire chief, Tom Williams, says this: "This fire is still very active, and it's going to be for some time." One more quickly, from Washington, the other Washington. The Senate voted 89-4 on Monday to move a bipartisan stopgap spending bill forward. It pushes the government's funding deadline from the 1st of October to the 11th of December, past the midterm elections, and it heads off what would have been the 3rd shutdown of this Congress. It carries faster Navy shipbuilding, money for the 2028 Olympics, and housing assistance. It leaves out $1 billion in advanced battleship money and $1.1 billion for North Carolina water projects tied to Hurricane Helene. The majority leader says he expects to pass it within days. What to watch? That Senate vote should land this week. Farinacci is in court today. And Friday still brings the jobs report. That's Monday, caught up. 3 official stories about the same negotiation. A record close bought with one of them, and an arrest in Spokane. We keep it straight. And we keep it quick. This is No by Noon. See you tomorrow.